Hello, how you doing? This is Adebayo Samuel Adedoyin here again. Um, it's another Saturday and a glorious day as it is. Uh, I hope you're having a really good time wherever you are. I hope you are finding it easy or you are trying to make it easy. I think that the how we perceive things, how we see things, determine how we feel as well. So do not allow yourself to be swayed. Do not allow yourself to be carried away by things that are happening all around you. If you focus on yourself, focus on the good things about you, focus on the brilliant things about you. Think of the things that makes you happy. Think about the things that that advances your life, your goals, your visions, your purpose. Don't be carried away. By the way, last week we were talking about another character development topic. We looked at compassion and we are looking at what compassion is. We try to explain that compassion is a step forward from empathy. A step forward from empathy and or sympathy. Okay, so it is after we empathize or after we sympathize, we try to do something about the things that we are concerned about. Okay, and we came to the understanding that now, and this is the age where many people don't really have compassion, and compassion is one of the things that makes us human. So I hope that message, I hope that broadcast brought you some understanding and challenged you to think better, when it comes to relating with people. All right, today we're going to be talking about another character develop values and character development, and it's something that is really interesting. If you look at all the topics that we have been looking at, um, they are not actually big topics. They're not topics that you know that many people actually look at, but the bits and pieces of all these things actually sums up who you are, sums up what you can become, sums up how you know how how you can stand out amongst others, because really it's about how you behave. Really, it's about what are your values, things that you stand for. All right, today we're talking about um, attentiveness, attentiveness, attentiveness. All right. As now you're looking at me, now you're listening to me. The question I want to pose to you is, how attentive are you to what I have been saying? How has it made meaning to you? Are you looking at me for looking at me's sake, or are you listening to what I am saying? And if you are listening to what I'm saying, what understanding are you deriving from what I am saying? Or are you carried away by the background of this video? Or are you looking at my tie? Or what exactly is gaining your attention? In this day and age, there are so much information that are flying around. The world today has become a global village thanks to the internet. There is so much content in form of texts, images, videos, audios. They are all fighting for your attention. If you go on any web page, for example, maybe the usual web pages, or you go on a social media, for example, Facebook, different ads pop up every now and then. You might be looking for an information. Suddenly, other information, especially in forms of ads or suggestions, they flood the page as if they are actually fighting to gain dominance of your attention. And if you're not careful, you may end up forgetting exactly what led you to that page, what made you, to get to that page. You can get distracted so easily. It is not your fault. It is just that everyone is looking for something. And since the internet is the major source today, they are all using the internet, for example, to reach you as a consumer. You just have to get your attention, in the right perspective, or they will claim it. All they're after actually is to get your attention. It is to get your time. So this is the idea around behind it. If they get your attention, they get your time. If they get your time, they get your energy. They get your energy, they get your purpose. They get your purpose, they get your money, they get your life. Isn't it scary? Well, that is how it is. That is the reason why you have so many things that are out there on the internet. Now, that is just for the internet. Today, we're going to be talking about attentiveness. All right. And the internet is just one main area. All right. But let's look at this topic from various things. Now, if you are watching here, I would like you to please share the broadcast. Invite friends to watch with you. Share your comments. Share your questions. Tell us where you are watching from. Tell us what you are watching. How, if indeed you are really attentive, tell us what difference it's making to you. Tell us what value that you are learning. Tell us how it is impacting you, and what you can do to use it to impact others as well. Now, today's topic is about attentiveness. Attentiveness is very important for someone who wants to build a strong character. And just as you are trying to work on yourself, there are so many roadblocks. Roadblocks in terms of distractions, attractions, enticements, all to dissuade you from the path at which you have chosen to tread. I think the way to explore this topic is to first look at the state at which you are in when it comes to attention anyway. There are several states at which people find themselves. I'll try to mention some of the states. If you find yourself in any of these, then this topic is for you. Or maybe I'll not be able to mention this, but at least if you are familiar with it, then you can learn something from it. Are you the one who is caught up with social media as a means to, for example, kill boredom? That you end up using a chunk of your 24 hours doing nothing tangible other than looking at photos, watching videos, reading posts by different people while losing track of time? This is the first category of people, okay? The second category is this. Are you one who is really into your thoughts? For example, you are an introvert, for example, or probably you just take a lot of time, busy, with your mind. What are you doing? You're analyzing matters, visualizing things. You are shuffling and reshuffling the ideas that are coming into your mind, or you are ruminating about a particular matter or issue. You are trying to make a decision. You are building or you are pulling down information that has piled up in your mind. That you so easily don't notice things around you while these things are going on in your mind. You don't notice places where you are, for example. You don't notice the kind of people that are there. You may actually see people all around you, but you don't see some detailed things about them. Maybe about how they look, how what is their emotional situation, maybe what they are saying, maybe how they dress, or things like this. Maybe you're not even conscious of what's going on around you in terms of what kind of information or notices that are being placed in different places at which you are, all because you are really into your mind. This is the second category. You could also be someone who is interested in everything all around you. That is this is the other side. Now actually you may be interested in everything all around you, but to the point at which you lose focus. Focus on the main things. You're just particular about so many other things, all right? And then by so doing, your focus is weakened, all right? You find yourself just looking around, just looking at different items, different things, looking at different people, but actually you are not seeing things. There's a difference between looking at something and seeing it. You can't look at something, you know, that means that you identify with it. But when you see it, you go ahead to look at details about that particular thing. Now that is another category. Where do you find yourself? Another group or another category of people are those people who bothers their mind on one item but are soon distracted by other similar things that they so easily lose the original thoughts that they have. You understand? For example, maybe they are on the internet, that something moves them to go and check for something on the internet, for example, and when they get there, lots of distractions come up here and there. Those things, actually what they're looking for is A, all right, but they see other similar things that surrounds A, all right, and they soon forget that the reason why they are there is because they've come there to look at A. All right. So there are many other kinds of states that we people find themselves, different categories, okay, which I have not mentioned, but the connection with all these categories or these cases is that they all lack attention. They lack attention. They lack attention. Now, medical practice identifies one aspect of this problem, of lack of attention as attention deficit disorder. Attention deficit disorder. Now, attention deficit disorder, what is known as ADHD, is a brain disorder marked by an ongoing pattern of inattention or hyperactivity, impulsivity that interferes with functioning or development, of course, of the brain. Now, while nothing may actually be wrong with us, while nothing be wrong with our brains, all right, but we have a problem focusing on one thing. We have a problem, our attention, the percentage at which we focus on something is very, very low. All right. So we are not able to put our rapt attention on a particular thing, and that will become a problem. Okay, because it will make us look as if we are sick. Of course, we are sick in our minds. For me, I think I want to call this kind of disorder a behavioral disorder. All right, because the brain is a muscle. All right, it is what we train it to do that it will do. If we are so easily carried away by frivolities, irrelevant materials, and time and the purpose that we that we're supposed to be watching is moving or is going away without we realizing it, it means that we have trained our minds to focus or to function that particular way. We remember that it is what we feed our mind with that we naturally reproduce. Think of the computer terminology that says garbage in, garbage out. All right, what you feed your mind with, or how you train your mind, is what it will reproduce. Okay, so let us take a critical look. What is attention? What is attention? I went into the dictionary and I came to the understanding that attention, to be attentive actually means to pay close attention to something. Close attention to something. What is attention? If you give someone or something your attention, you look at it, or you look at the person, you listen to the person, or you think about it carefully. So when when we're talking about attention, we're talking about the carefulness that we place in looking at something, listening to something, working at something. So if you are attentive, for example, you are paying close attention to what is being said or done. Someone who is attentive is helpful and is polite. If you are attentive, you are helpful and polite. If you are not attentive, there will be a problem, because the person communicating to you or the thing communicating to you will not get the feedback at which it was supposed to get from you. All right. Now, if you remember, when we were at school, probably primary school or secondary school, the teacher at several points in time will stop the class and say, "Class, everybody, stop whatever you are doing right now and look up. Look at the board." Why is the teacher, or why did the teacher, or why does the teacher say that? Okay, the teacher is saying that, or said that, or is saying that for us to focus our attention on the board. The teacher is actually making us to realize that at that particular point in time, every other thing is inconsequential. Every other thing does not matter. What matters is what the teacher is about to dish out, to teach the students at that particular point in time. The teacher believes that at that particular point in time, the student needs nothing else except to get what he or she is about to teach them. Okay? And that's what attention is all about. Now, why is it important that we need to be attentive? Why? We benefit from important information that will be useful to us in one way or the other when we are attentive. Let's look at some other reasons why it is important to be attentive. Number one, it will help us in the acquisition of knowledge. There are several ways that we get knowledge. We get knowledge by experience. We get knowledge by taking information in. We get knowledge by listening. We get knowledge by practice. But if you look at it carefully, real knowledge is acquired when we focus our attention on what we are reading, what we are seeing, what we are trying to practice. That is how it happens. Number two, being attentive will help us to process information and come to grasp with certain ideals. When we are attentive, we see something or we come across something, we wait on it, we look at it, we use our brains to ask questions, we process those information or that information in our mind for us to come for a particular concept to be, to be conceptualized in our minds, for a particular concept to become, to have it a form in our minds. Okay. Another reason is that it will help us or to train our minds to focus and reproduce better results. Of course, what you feed your mind with is what we will get. But the truth of the matter is, for example, if you feed your mind with something to give you back, more than double of what it has received. So we must be careful what we pay our attention towards. There is a quote by David O. Selznick. He's an American film producer, screenwriter, and film studio executive. He has this to say. He says the success of a production depends on the attention paid to detail. The success of a production depends on the attention paid to detail. So it means if you are engaging yourself in one thing or the other, the success of what you are doing is dependent on how much of attention you pay to the different parts of that particular thing. The next point is that when we focus our attention on something, it aids our thinking and helps in our becoming matured personalities. It helps our thinking. Many of us don't have the ability to think analytically, critically, or because their mind wanders easily. You don't have the ability to sit down critically and analyze something. It's as a result of lack of attention, attention to details. I'm not saying that the person speaking to you right now has got it all right. I'm only saying that there is a need for us all to consciously work towards, building our character, in paying attention to different things, which will really, really help us. The next point I'm about to share with you is that being attentive helps us to avoid dangers. There are dangers everywhere and every now and there. In fact, the reason why we have signs, symbols, notices in different places, internally or externally, in public places, is for us to be warned about dangers ahead. Okay? Many times when we read documents, we don't pay attention to several things. And there are several loopholes in many documents. Documents that we sign, we now become binded to. Okay? So when we pay attention to them, we are able to see those dangers and avoid them by underlining them, asking questions about them, and correcting them if need be. It will help us to avoid misunderstanding people and misrepresenting people. When we pay attention, we listen closely at what people are saying. We don't jump into conclusions. We ask critical questions. We ask follow-up questions. These are the questions that help us to really, really conceptualize what the information is all about. Many people, for example, listen to a video, a live broadcast like this, and they just take a line or if a statement that somebody says, the person who is doing the broadcast, for example, says, and then criticize the person based on that line. They did not, or they may have, sieved the other parts of a live broadcast. Meanwhile, that is something that surrounds or is entangled with the whole thing that the person is particularly talking about. It is a big problem because many of us fall into traps, so fall into many dangers, fall into many, troubles such as this. Okay, all because we don't pay attention to many of the things that are being said. All right. The next thing to look at is that it enables us to understand clearly the picture that the information is trying to paint. Give us a vivid understanding. So, if the picture is trying to paint B, you don't think it is P. All right? So, if somebody is trying to say Britain, for example, you don't think the person is saying Britain. All right? They are two different things. If you don't listen closely, you think they sound alike, but they are saying two different things. All right? That's an example. All right? There could be so many examples to explain this. You understand? So that's when it comes to sounds now. When it comes to visual things as well, you must be able to understand clearly what a message is being passed across, not to misunderstand the information that is coming. Okay? It also helps us to be seen as people who are serious, who become professionals in their dealings. Paying attention to details is important for avoiding errors, maintaining efficiency, preventing injuries, making a good impression, and analyzing information. This is all what being attentive does for us. And finally, amongst all, is this, that when we pay attention to details, when we are being attentive at different things, we run the extra mile. We show that we want more out of everything that we are doing. This is why the Greek philosopher Aristotle referred to excellence many centuries ago as not an act but a habit. So paying attention should be a habit. It should be something that we build with our minds, which of course will help us to go a long way. So, what are we saying? What are we reading? How is this benefiting us? Are we learning something new or interesting about this topic? Let's see what our friends are saying. Let us, please write your comments. Put your comments in the comment section. Send it to us. Ask questions, and we'll try to see how we can answer them. Okay. All right. How can we be attentive? How? While it is important for us to be attentive, we also have to understand how to be attentive. Some people think to be attentive means to just look at something closely for a long time. It is possible for us to look at something for a long time and particularly not see the main thing or the dominant thing about it. We will just be seeing things in the periphery, in the surface. But it is different when we pay attention. Many a times we see something, but we don't see the total makeup of that thing. The same happens when we are looking at a matter, when we are dealing with an issue, when we are looking at a situation, when we are reading a document, when even when an opportunity comes. I personally have many experiences like that. When an opportunity comes to me, I'm so attracted by the main thing about the opportunity, but I don't look at it critically. I don't turn it around. I don't look at what surrounds it. Okay. It is now I'm learning to pay attention, not to rush, to look at something critically. All right, which has really helped me, because these days I am cautious of what comes. Okay, it is important that we look at the totality of something. We are the ones who are supposed to do a careful study through inquiry on those things, even as simple as it may look. Sometimes it may require you asking someone to help you look at it with a second eye, because two heads are better than one. Some of the questions we need to ask ourselves when it comes to to paying attention or looking closely at something is, we need to ask ourselves, like, what is this? Even though you know what it is, right? But ask yourself again, what is this? What is its function? What is it meant for? Who is it meant for? Do I need this? What does this have to do with me? What will this benefit me or benefit other people? What is the consequence or advantage or disadvantage of doing this? What are the long-term benefits or hazards, or the short-term benefits or hazards of this thing? If it is a document that you are reading or a device that you're looking at, what are the specific instructions I'm supposed to pay attention to? These and many more questions are the details we have to look at, not just seeing the outward appearance of something or a situation. Lou Holtz is a former American football player and a coach as well. He says, in the successful organization, no detail is too small to escape close attention. Meaning, whatever thing that we are doing, we shouldn't just think something is not worthy of paying attention to. You have to have a close marking, a close, survey of what is going on, to really have a complete grasp of what is happening, and then being able to, approach it the way it's supposed to be. Now, the question that is coming up in my mind now is this: what should we be attentive to? What should we be attentive to? Honestly, I can't give you an answer of that question, because we all are unique. We all are looking for several things. We all need several things. But generally, there are some basic things that we all should pay attention to, that will be like a guiding principle for anything that we are doing. I found this wisdom in the Holy Bible. Philippians 4 chapter 8 says, "Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things." Think about such things. What is that Holy Scripture saying to us? It's saying, pay attention to things that are true. Pay attention to things that are true. Pay attention to things that are noble. Don't let things that are not honorable to take your time or to claim your attention. Several things, for example, we go on the road, or we find ourselves in a particular environment, or basically we are on social media, all right? There are several things that comes up that is not even worth looking at. You just need to quickly take them off. You understand? Suggestive things, all right? Just remove them. It is not useful for you. It is not needed. Okay? So things that are lovely, things that are pure, not corrupt things. Pay attention on things that will not corrupt you. All right? Things that are admirable, that when people see in you, when they see about you or they hear about you, people will admire you. All right? Okay, people admire what you are doing. Okay, all right, not just outwardly, but inward character as well. Virtues, things that you do that people will praise God for you. All right, that's what we are talking about. Pay attention to those things. All right, we should pay attention to things that are right. You pay attention to things that are excellent, things that are praiseworthy. All right, just make sure that things are not stealing or robbing you of your time. You don't have too much of a time. Just have 24 hours in a day, and so many things are right there just to claim or to dominate your attention. All right, you should not allow them to steal or to rob you of your time. Make sure that they are what you need at a particular time. Things that you must focus on. You must be discerning. You must know according to what your plans are. What are your targets? What are your focus? What are your burdens? What are your aspirations? What are your visions? What are the things that you want to actualize? What are the things that you want to use your life for? Those are the things that you must be looking out for. You must be searching. And if anything comes, you remove it. If anything comes, you avoid it. Just stay focused. This is the way this is what we should, pay our attention on. Okay? Now, there are several things that are, in quotes, useful. There are several things that are, in quotes, good. They are profitable, all right? But just like what the wisdom book says, 1 Corinthians 10:23, it says, the Living Translation says, you say I am allowed to do anything, but not everything is good for you. You say I am allowed to do anything, but not everything is beneficial. I like how the Berean Study Bible puts it. It says everything is permissible, but not everything is beneficial. Okay? Everything is permissible, but not everything is edifying. Meaning that some things or a lot of things may be good if you look at them in their own real sense. But at a particular time, they may not be useful for you because at that point in time, that's not what you are going to do. That's not the reason why you are there. You understand? At that particular point in time, you have something else in mind to achieve. Okay? Now you may tell me, well, so what do I do with those useful things? Well, you can save them for another time. You can put them in your folder. You can allocate some other time or designate some other time to look at those things or to use them for whatever it is that you want to do. But always be time conscious. You always go according to your plan. That you want to achieve this thing, go all out for it. Don't allow anything to distract you. Pay attention to what matters. Pay attention to valuable things. Pay attention to things that will help you to get to where you're supposed to be. All right? So, I'll give us 3 tips that could help us to understand what attention is. Tips that could help us to be attentive. All right? Tips that we need to consider, in our daily life, all right, so that we can really get to where we need to be when it comes, character-wise. Excuse me. Okay, and I want to point out these tips from quotes from different people. Okay, there is an American educator who is late, of course, now. His name is Booker T. Washington. He has this to say. He said, success in life is founded upon attention to the small things rather than to the large things, to the everyday things nearest to us rather than to the things that are remote and uncommon. If you want to succeed in life, pay attention to little things. Pay attention to little things, not to really big things, all right? To little things, okay? Because in the little things, the little things actually are the things that become big, all right? So if you are doing something, for example, now, and it is still small, don't despise the day of little beginning. Pay attention to those little things. See how you can grow it, how you can make it bigger. All right. So pay attention to everyday matters, everyday things. All right. Not things that are, are far away. All right. Some people are desiring the future. Okay. And they, because they are desiring the future, okay, they forget about now. That shouldn't be. Pay attention to now. Pay attention to things that are surrounding you while you're looking at the future. Okay. Thank you. Another tip I'm going to share with you is from a quote by an Indian philosopher. Okay, his name is Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. He says, whatever we put our attention on will grow stronger in our life. Whatever we put our attention on will grow stronger in our life. I remember a quote from one of my mentors. Okay, is one of my one of my fathers. Okay, I call them my fathers because they are the ones that really, you know, that really helped me to be who I am today. He says, focus, let your focus be on what your focus should focus on. I'll take it again. Let your focus be on what your focus should focus on. Think about it. What does it mean to you? There are things that we want to get to in life. Let your gaze, let your attention, let your desire, let your energies, let your resources be focused on those things. Let them not be distracted. Whatever you are looking at every day will grow, to expand. Okay? There's this American actor called Kenny Reeves. I'm sure you must have known him. He's the star in the famous movie called Matrix. I'm sure if I say Matrix, you remember him now. Kenny Reeves. Kenny Reeves says, the simple act of paying attention can take you a long way. The simple act of paying attention can take you a long way. How much of attention did you pay on this live podcast? Well, this will bring us to the end of this live broadcast. Thank you for watching. How beneficial was it to you? Thank you. I'll not be able to read your comments now because I did this broadcast ahead of time so that I can I'll not be available at a particular point at time as supposed to be, but I did this broadcast so that I'll make sure that the time I'll substitute it for the time that is needed. But of course, I'll be available. Answering your questions, with text. Thank you very much for watching. It's a pleasure having you here live on our broadcast. If it has encouraged you, if it has taught you something, why don't you share with your friends? Why don't you share with your neighbors? Why don't you share with your families? Why don't you allow somebody else to watch with you? Okay, and I believe that all work together for our good. We are going to become strong personalities. We're going to be movers and shakers of our world. We're going to be people who are going to turn our communities, our societies, and our societies, our countries around for the better. Our societies will be known for distinct and unique people of values, of character, people who would, soon make a big statement in the political, economic, educational, societal sphere of life, social sphere of life. Sorry. Thank you for watching once again. Love from my wife, Esther Koganji Adedoyin, and my family. Bye for now.